gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the 4th edition of ET Now presents IndiaMART Leaders of Tomorrow Awards 2013. This is the definitive platform for Indian small and medium enterprises. It's an endeavor to celebrate their spirit of entrepreneurship, their perseverance, and their business excellence. The participation in the 4th edition of these awards has indeed been overwhelming. More than 1 lakh of India's most promising SMEs have applied for these awards, so needless to say, it has been a mammoth task to arrive at the winners.
Yes, indeed, it has. In fact, we've also made an attempt to reach out to SMEs in every corner of the country this year by adding another dimension, the Leaders of Tomorrow Regional Awards 2013. The best SMEs from the North, South, East and West regions of India were shortlisted after a rigorous process and were felicitated at regional award ceremonies held at Delhi, Mumbai and Bengaluru. All the regional winners then went on to compete for these national level awards spread across 17 categories of manufacturing, services and special recognition. The best of them were chosen by an eminent industry jury.
And you're all here tonight to celebrate their entrepreneurial spirit, salute their success and recognize their contribution to the Indian economy. So ladies and gentlemen, let's begin the evening with a small tribute to India's dynamic SME sector that plays a pivotal role in its growth story.
The architects of India's future, the engine of its developing economy. They are the stepping stones for India's rising prowess in the global arena. Their contribution to the India growth story is outstanding and unmatched. Facing strife, daily turmoil and often turbulent economic climate, these 45 million cogs in the wheels of our economy work silently to make India shine on the world map. They are the torchbearers of a rapidly changing nation. They are India's hidden gems, its unsung heroes, its small and medium enterprises. Together, these 45 million small and medium enterprises employ over 100 million people across the length and breadth of our country and are growing at an astounding pace of 19% annually. With over 8,000 innovative products and a plethora of services across sectors, they dazzle the domestic and international markets, accounting for over 8% of the Indian GDP, 40% of total exports, and 45% of the country's manufacturing output. They are persistent, resilient, and passionate nation builders. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we salute and celebrate their entrepreneurial spirit, their tremendous grit and their undying passion that make them the leaders of tomorrow.
Well, let's kick off the evening then. It's time to introduce you all to our chief guest for this evening. He's an iconic business leader and we're indeed honored to have him with us tonight. To welcome him, I'd like to invite on stage Mr. R. Sridharan, Managing Editor, ET Now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the 4th edition of the ET Now and IndiaMART Leaders of Tomorrow Awards. Let me begin by introducing our chief guest this evening, although he really needs no introduction. Mr. K.V. Kamath, Chairman of ICICI Bank, is not just a global industry leader, but he's also someone who wears his love for the country on his sleeve. A proud Indian and a Padma Bhushan awardee, Mr. Kamath is much sought after by industry and governments for his deep insights into complex issues and his ability to look at opportunities that often come disguised as challenges. He knows what it takes to turn a nondescript financial institution into a world-class bank. So, Mr. Kamath, thank you very much for joining us this evening at the IndiaMART Leaders of Tomorrow Awards 2013. Since 2010, these awards have become an industry benchmark. The objective has always been to turn the spotlight on India's amazing small and medium enterprises that are battling all kinds of odds to create wealth in the economy. This year, we received an overwhelming response to these awards, with more than 1 lakh SME nominations. SMEs are truly the heartbeat of industry. They're not just the largest employers, but it is the ingenuity, flexibility and tenacity that allow India to compete in a global marketplace. It is no doubt an acknowledgement of that fact. The new government has already created a Ministry for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. We at ET Now consider it our privilege to be able to make a small difference by recognizing and celebrating the wonderful work that some of our SMEs are doing. On that note, let me congratulate all the winners of the Leaders of Tomorrow Awards and once again extend a warm welcome to our chief guest and all of you. Mr. Kamath, may I please request you to join us on the stage for your keynote address. Thank you.
Good evening, Sridharan, assembled dignitaries and guests. Let me start by congratulating all the winners. I think we will have their names in a few minutes as we go along. But as Mr. Sridharan said, it's the right time to talk a little bit about what we see as the prospects, and particularly given the fact that we have what I would think is the engine which drives growth in this country, the SMEs of this country. Again, we are in Delhi. We are in Delhi where there has been, I would say, momentous change in terms of the leadership in this country. And as I was, just before I came in, somebody was asking me as to what do you see as the growth rate in the immediate term, in the medium term, and say within the next 5 years. So I said, I'll give you only one answer for what I see as the growth rate within the 5-year horizon. And in that growth rate, I do not see a single digit. I see 2 digits there. So you can make your own call whether it is going to be 10 at the lowest or whatever is that number that one is comfortable with. And it was not in a lighter vein that I said that. Because the question that came up was, given our structural constraints, given so many other constraints, can we really get growth back to the double-digit number from 4.6 that we just now I saw we were for the last quarter? My answer is very simple. You reached near double-digit growth in the mid 2000s, around 2005, 2006, with the same structural constraints. Those structural constraints did not come in the way then. And today, if you see the difference, you've got a leader who is at the helm, the Prime Minister, who has proven that double-digit growth in his state is feasible. Double-digit even in agriculture is, or near double-digit is feasible even in agriculture. One of the key things that the slowdown of the last few years did was, I would think, create a challenge in the working capital cycle of all corporates in India. And I'm sure the small-scale industry and the small entrepreneurs are no exception. Basically, receivables have started piling up. Banks have started getting difficult on that front. And this, to me, is one key challenge that needs to be addressed as we go along. And in the past, I have found the recipe for this is growth. And if we expect that growth will happen, and I'm sure that this challenge that you have will be addressed. Clearly, if growth happens, top line should be comfortable. You should be happy with what could be done with that top line. And we have always seen in a conducive environment, the bottom line also grows in a healthy way. What is it that you need to do internally to, I would say, compete in this marketplace, which I believe is going to be full of opportunities? My experience over the last few years indicates that it is how well you professionalize, which will ultimately mean success, or not that far-reaching success for every entrepreneur and every company. So internally, whether you are a private company or a public company, what is the level of professionalization that you would have, and how would you go about getting that level of professionalization is something that you will have to address as you go along. I'm sure in the last 10 years, looking at all the trends in terms of how the corporate sector has evolved, the tightening of, I would say, governance standards in listed companies and so on, a lot of you who might not be listed would have tried to get that discipline into your businesses. And I think it is that discipline which allows you to build a foundation which is strong from which to grow. And if I have a single message to give, I would think that would be professionalize yourselves to the extent that you can, so that you prepare yourself for this opportunity that India will unveil in the next few years. So once again, look forward to, I would say, a period of opportunity, and prepare yourselves to seize it. And to the winners, my best wishes. Thank you.
If you think they're excited about T20 cricket, then think again. India's going gaga over ET Now's show, Traders 20. It's where India's top analysts meet on the trading pitch every weekday and give you top 20 stock recommendations of the day on Traders 20. Only on ET Now.
पापा ने बोला पंखे का फैक्ट्री बंद कर दो, उसमें कोई प्रॉफिट न थे। और मैंने बोला नो, मुझे ये करने का है, मुझे पंखा बनाने का है। ये गधेड़ा आ थेपला के ढोकला न थी कि हाथ फेरवे और बन गए। पंखा है पंखा। हेलो पप्पा, 14 लाख सप्लायर અને 1 लाख प्रोडक्ट आजो। यूपी से ब्लेड અને मोटर, हरियाणा से कवर અને આપણા ગુજરાત માંથી પ્લાસ્ટિક અને બેઝ। पंखा की फैक्ट्री चाली पड़ी। मजा पड़ी गई।
Business comes together at IndiaMART.
As we told you, it's been quite a journey for all of us here as a team at Leaders of Tomorrow, and we have now come together and charted that journey in the form of a special book that's a tribute to all the winners of the Leaders of Tomorrow Awards of the previous years. Mr. Kamath, we'd like you to please unveil it.
I'd also like to request Mr. Dinesh Gulati, Director IndiaMART, to please come up on stage, and Mr. R. Sridharan, Managing Editor, ET Now, to please come on stage for the book launch.
I'll request Mr. Dinesh Gulati to once again come back on stage and to share his view.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Kamath, good evening. A very warm welcome to all of you. It's really a pleasure to be amongst all of winners today here. SMEs are backbone of the country. This may be a cliche, but I think it's been time and again proven. And I think if GDP this year has grown by 4.6 or sub 5%, SMEs contribution